I think that the beautiful thing today is that everyone has to adopt and everyone has to change. And they're really looking inside, but also outside as well. And so there's different types of brands, and in terms on the spectrum of where they are, they're going to approach different ways of engaging people. And so I think if you're a larger brand with a more mass reach audience, what you're trying to understand is how are you going to have an angle and a point of view that really connects with your audience on a mass scale. If you're sort of a startup type of brand, what you're really trying to do is build a community and a following. But at the center, the red line of them all is really about people. And how do you get the best audiences the most engaged? And they're all trying to do that in different ways. It just depends on where on the spectrum that you fall into, that your tactics and ways of engaging will have to change. The question of is it a broad audience or a narrow audience is an interesting one. I almost think it's the wrong question because brands traditionally have thought about it in that way. I think the reframe for me would be to almost think of it as what are people interested in? And it's actually when you start to try to appeal to everyone, you appeal to no one, and therefore you become more mediocre, right? And I don't think any of our clients will want to say that they're mediocre. So what I'd recommend that brands do is almost say, look internally, what are we about? What are our values? And then who are we trying to reach? And how do those values cross over with the values of your target audience and people? And that's where your sweet spot is. And that's where your tactics start to fall into. But if you start to take up sort of a playbook approach, your playbook will be soon outdated. Lots of brands will come to you and say, we want people to love us, right? And I think that approach is a little bit 20th century, and we're living in a 21st century. And most brands are all about profit, right? And I think when you look at the world today, it's more about your values. If you really want to relate to people and you want to insert yourself into their worlds, you can't start with the conversation of bias, right? Because the context of the world and media has changed, and there's so many more chances to just shut off. But if you want to connect with people, then you have to really change the conversation and almost relate to what's interesting to them. And I think the things that we're seeing now is really about, I care about what this company is about, what are they saying, but also what are they doing to prove who they are and their worth to me. So the best way to connect with a company is not to talk about yourself and your profits. It's about how you are serving value in their lives.